I love Spider-Man, you love Spider-Man, everyone loves Spider-Man. So why does Marvel torture him all of the time? The phrase Parker luck is directly lifted from the comic pages itself. The character himself knows that he has an insurmountable amount of bad luck, especially when compared to his other superhero compatriots. If he saves the city, he misses Aunt May's dinner. If he protects his identity, it costs him his relationships. If he defeats a villain, he'll probably end up losing his job. It's Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong, but it's targeted. It's targeted just at Peter Parker ever since his debut in 1962. And this does go well beyond the normal superhero origin story treatment. Spider-Man's stories have never been about wish fulfillment. His origin story is the ultimate Parker luck situation, where even when he gets his powers after a lifetime of being bullied, he loses his Uncle Ben. Now that's, yeah, okay, standard fare. What superhero isn't an orphan in some way or another? But this goes well beyond just a standard tragic superhero story. This is intrinsic to his character and it stops his growth. Okay, let's look at Thor. Thor is humbled into mortal form, ostracized from his family for being a war-hungry god. But then Thor becomes the king of the 9 realms. Thor gains his power, he earns his family's trust, and he becomes the protector of all, entrusted to a whole entire kingdom. Whereas Peter struggles to pay rent.
Give me rent.
You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door!
Okay, let's look at another example. Captain America. He was bullied his whole entire childhood just like Peter was. He's also seen a loved one die. He saw Bucky die. But the thing is, Bucky didn't die. Bucky comes back. There used to be a saying, there's 3 characters in comics that will always stay dead, and that's Bucky Barnes, Jason Todd, and Uncle Ben. Jason Todd and Bucky Barnes aren't dead anymore. It's only Uncle Ben. He will always stay dead. Peter doesn't get the same treatment as a lot of his peers. Also, back to Captain America, he does become a war hero, one of the most respected superheroes in the superhero community. He's not bullied anymore. Peter has issues just graduating high school a lot of the time. But let's go to a dramatic example, because I've just looked at 2 of the most successful Avengers. One's a king and one's a war hero. Sweet. Let's look at Wolverine. Everyone defines Wolverine as being a struggler. He spent a lot of his life being ripped apart and tortured by government organizations. He is part of an ostracized from society group, the mutants. He was basically brainwashed for years of his life, turned against friend and family alike. But now he has a community. Now he is respected within that community. He's also immortal outside of just his power set. If you read everything from the Krakoa age, all the mutants are immortal. He lives in paradise a lot of the time. He also has literal family. He has daughters and a son who started off as an enemy and now they're friends again. Peter just struggles to maintain a private identity. While other heroes get to, save the world and get the girl, Peter doesn't get any of that. Okay, but if you still don't trust me, let's run up some comic books that hate him. Plenty of comic books hate him. Let's go back to the 1970s. The night Gwen Stacy died. That's a big one. So Peter has a good relationship with Gwen Stacy. Lots of people love that relationship from the comics. And she dies. She dies in a way that is not only traumatic, but Peter blames himself. As Green Goblin chucks Gwen Stacy off a bridge, Spider-Man goes to try to save her. He whips his little web down and it's too late. It's a point of argument amongst fans as to whether Gwen Stacy broke her neck on the surface of the water, or if it's because Peter got her and yanked her up too hard. Either way, Peter blames himself. And this is just a small portion of the tragedy that Peter will blame himself for going forward. It sets a precedent for the character. Let's go through to the 80s, Kraven's Last Hunt. Kraven is dying. Kraven the Hunter is dying. And he wants one more win on top of Spider-Man. One more win in a way that will shake Spider-Man to his core.
His gear, whack. His jewelry, whack. His footsteps, whack. The way that he talks, whack. The way that he doesn't even like to smile, whack. Me, I'm tight as fuck.
He tranquilizes him and buries Peter in a grave. Now, Kraven thinks that Peter is dead or will die. Peter is there for 2 weeks before he digs his way out. in this time, Kraven has donned the Spider-Man suit and is destroying his reputation. But not just that. Kraven is defeating villains that Spider-Man couldn't. He's protecting people that Spider-Man couldn't. When Spider-Man eventually does get out of his grave, Kraven doesn't even let Spidey confront him and finish him off. Kraven takes things into his own hands and ends his own life. Even when Spider-Man wins, it's on Kraven's terms. And Spider-Man has to live with the fact that he was not as effective as a psychotic killer. Okay, now to the 90s. Now, this is almost every generation now, but to the 90s we have the Clone Saga, which is universally hated. But if the last storyline didn't make Peter wonder about his identity or effectiveness as Spider-Man, this one makes him question if he's even Peter Parker. We have the Jackal, who's a werewolf-faced clone guy. He likes cloning things. He's a mad scientist. It's comic book stuff. But he clones Peter years ago, and they bring it back up in the Clone Saga, and you're brought to wonder, is Peter Parker the one that we've been following, the original Peter Parker? With this new clone, there's some tests that they do that show that that might be the original Peter Parker. So Spider-Man's not even Spider-Man. Peter's not even Peter. He's having a crisis on all fronts. This follows for quite a while until it is retconned back, but it just shows that Marvel wasn't even sure if they wanted Peter Parker to be Peter Parker. Alright, skipping forward to 2007, we've got One More Day. This story frustrates, so this is probably more controversial or a worse storyline than the Clone Saga for a lot of fans, myself included. At least the Clone Saga had other things going on. This is just, alright, well, in a lot of ways, Peter's life is the best it's ever been. He's married to Mary Jane. He has a supportive and lovely relationship with her. They are ride or die till the end, and that's the way that fans have wanted to see them for ages. There is a negative though. His secret identity is public. Ever since Civil War, he told the world his secret identity, and now he's on the run. What this basically means is a bullet that was meant for Peter goes straight into the guts of Aunt May. Horrible. She's an elderly woman. This is something that a lot of people can relate to, because when Peter puts her into care, he's going through issues of insurance, and you know, Aunt May is an elderly lady. She can't really bounce back, no matter how many surgeries they have, from a bullet wound to the gut. This is horribly traumatic for Peter. So he goes around to the smartest people in Marvel, the smartest people in a fictional universe of people that regularly travel dimensions and shake time. He goes to Dr. Doom, he goes to Reed Richards, he even goes to Doc Ock. He goes to everyone, and no one can help him. Doctor Strange can't help him with any mystical weirdness. Nothing can stop Aunt May from dying. Now, when you think Peter Parker, you don't often think ghouls and spirits, and it's not a bad crossover. It's not like it doesn't make sense. You know, there's all the Morlun stuff and the Web of Destiny or all that Spider-Verse stuff, but that's still like alternate realities. You don't really think ghouls.
Little green ghouls, buddy.
Don't write ghouls.
I'm not. I'm putting travel. Jesus Christ.
Who decides to come to Peter Parker's rescue? The fucking devil.
Hi, Shadow. It's me, the devil. I love you.
Mephisto comes and all he wants is for Peter's life to be worse. This is completely out of blue. It feels written on purpose just to mess Peter's life up. Worse than that, all Mephisto wants is Peter Parker's marriage. He even shows Mary Jane and Peter their future child, and it was like, I will save Aunt May, but you sacrifice this. I will erase this from history. What is this sounding like? It's sounding like a really messy retcon. It's sounding like Marvel just basically going like, oh, Peter Parker can't be happy. He can't have anything of happiness, and we don't really like that his identity is public. So we're just gonna erase all that. Mephisto will come in, erase his identity from being public. He'll make sure Aunt May is okay, and we'll just reverse time. We'll just erase some things from time and set Peter Parker right back to square one. So we can write some stories that everyone likes reading. Peter Parker broke and poor and with nothing good going on in his life. By returning Pete to the status quo, Marvel editorial literally erased his happiness from existence, because in their own words, Spider-Man shouldn't be happy and married. Alright, to highlight my point, let's look at two very recent comic book runs that show, just by the reception to these runs from the fan base, how much the fans are just sick of the Parker luck keeping Spider-Man down and with no character development, with no character strengths. We're going to look at Zeb Wells' Spider-Man run from 2021 to 2024, and then we're going to look at the Ultimate Spider-Man by Jonathan Hickman from starting last year. Starting with Wells' run, we have a Spider-Man that's getting his ass handed to him by villains that should not pose a problem to him. You know Tombstone, right? Tombstone, he was in the animated Spider-Man movies, the Spider-Verse movies. What is his power set? He's a strong guy, unbreakable skin, basically. He's not like a Venom level threat or an Avengers level threat. Tombstone literally has Spider-Man begging for his life. He has Spider-Man dead beat to rights, and that might make sense for a Spider-Man that's in like early high school. This is not a Spider-Man in early high school. This is an experienced Spider-Man, someone who has fought the Hulk and Wolverine and Avengers levels threat like Thanos, and he is not some dude that's going to get absolutely dog walked by a street level thug. And if that didn't get the fans angry enough, we open with Mary Jane and Peter having been broken up mysteriously. Remembering just at the end of the arc just prior to this, they were either about to be engaged or just engaged. Their life was getting back on track after one more day. Everything was coming back to what fans want to see from their relationship, and then all of a sudden they're broken up. Even worse, Mary Jane now has a new boyfriend called Paul. Everyone hates Paul. No one likes Paul. And he was around the comics for years. Nobody liked Paul. Even worse, Paul and Mary Jane have kids, and Spidey has to save those kids because he's Spider-Man. Many fans, I picked up some of them, but many fans, myself included, avoided reading this run. Marvel had to apologize or explain themselves at press junkets because no one liked this. It's Parker like it's Peter Parker after last couple runs having built his life back up, just unexplainedly and cruelly just dashed to the rocks. Now, almost as a call and response, let's look at Hickman's run from last year, the Ultimate Spider-Man run. This Spider-Man has everything going for him. For one, this Spider-Man is, well, actually not Spider-Man yet, we'll get there. This Peter Parker is in his mid-30s. He has a successful job that is respected at. Uncle Ben is still alive. Mary Jane and him are married, and he has 2 kids. So if you haven't guessed, this is obviously an alternate universe situation if you haven't heard of the Ultimate line of comics. His life is good. His life is great. And then he gets the powers. I think Marvel confuses, responsibility with ultimate power comes ultimate responsibility, that whole spiel. You need something to be responsible for. Responsibility isn't just sacrifice. Responsibility is being responsible for a life. And Spider-Man constantly fails at being responsible for his life. He sacrifices for power. That's not always the same thing, especially when we've been getting our head beaten over it for the last 60 years. So Spider-Man with stakes, Spider-Man with a life to lose that he has built before becoming Spider-Man was interesting for fans, especially fans that had just read Zeb Wells' run. This is what people wanted to see from the main universe Spider-Man, but we never got to. And it's not just in the comics. I know that the movie fan base and the comic fan base don't quite have the same experience with this issue, but let's just have a quick little rundown of what happens in the movies. In the Sam Raimi trilogy, we have, Spider-Man obviously gains his powers and loses Uncle Ben. That makes sense. He watches his killer die. That traumatizes him. That's fine, sort of superhero stuff. Aunt May constantly has threats against her life. And then his relationship with MJ is always strained. And if you go back and rewatch those movies, does anyone actually want him to still be with MJ by the 3rd movie? I don't really care if he's with MJ by the 3rd movie. It's just a high school crush that's tortured him his whole life. I wasn't into it. Those movies do not paint MJ great. And to make it worse, we leave this trilogy with his future uncertain. We don't quite know. It's bittersweet. His best friend is dead. There's so much going on in his life that's still up in the air. Yes, we were meant to get a 4th movie, but we don't really find out what happened to him. All right, let's go on to the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I feel like these ones in only 2 movies tried to one-up the one before it. So the Amazing Spider-Man, obviously, we have Uncle Ben dying. That's a granted, that's a given. We have him losing his parents, and all of a sudden there's super secret, top secret spies, which I hate. I've hated that whenever it's in the comics as well. Don't really like that origin, but whatever. We have him losing Captain Stacy, and we have a recreation of the night Gwen Stacy died. Only this time it's in a clock tower, and Gwen Stacy's dead. And then we leave him. We even pick back up with him recently in the Tom Holland movies, and we find out his life got worse. He got violent. He stopped pulling his punches. This isn't Spider-Man. There's no hope here. Until years later, apparently. Now, let's look at the MCU Spidey. Now, this one started off as Iron Boy Jr.
Look at little
Iron Boy
Junior. Gonna cry?
Which I wasn't a fan of. We need a bit of struggle. We need something going on. This started off as Iron Boy Jr. and then almost in a turn just to make his life worse than all the others, he might arguably have it worse than the other two Spider-Men, than Garfield and Maguire. Because we have a recreation of that comic arc that I don't like, One More Day. Instead of Mephisto, it's now Doctor Strange. And his life is erased. His education ruined. His prospects of a future ruined. MJ, his closest friends, don't know who he is. But also, like, this is the darkest multiverse for Peter because he doesn't even have Aunt May. Aunt May is his Uncle Ben in this universe because she gives a speech about responsibility. Tom Holland might have it worse, and I'm very excited to see Tom Holland be broke in the next movie, but he needs to grow from that. If we get another reset where he's broke in 2 or 3 more movies down the track, I don't want to see that. So why does Marvel do this? Why does Marvel keep punishing their biggest moneymaker? The answer is, that's because that's what makes him relatable. Unlike the gods, billionaires, and super soldiers that Spider-Man has around him, Spider-Man is an everyday struggle. He is every missed rent bill. He is every failed relationship. He is every missed opportunity. If Peter Parker ever truly won, if his life ever stabilized, he'd stop being the underdog, and that's what makes him resonate. But there is also the more cynical angle. Marvel knows that Spider-Man's suffering sells, that it makes the big bucks. Readers want to root for him because he's always climbing uphill. Editorial decisions like One More Day show Marvel's willingness to manufacture misery just to keep Peter locked in that cycle. It's not just bad luck, it's structural. So does Marvel hate Spider-Man? Not exactly. They love what his suffering represents. The Parker luck is the cruel trick that keeps Spider-Man forever relevant, forever struggling, and forever human. But as fans, we're left torn, because we love Peter Parker because no matter how hard he gets knocked down or how often, he gets back up. But the problem is we have to watch the company that made him knock him down on purpose. And maybe that's the ultimate Parker luck of it all, because while other heroes get to have character growth and have communities grow around them or throw themselves into different situations, Marvel will always reset him back to baseline Spider-Man suffering. So yeah, maybe the ultimate Parker luck is even his creators won't let him ever be happy.